Hi, my name is Thokozhani Kulemeka, and I am 12 years old. I go to Columbus Adventist Academy, and I attend Hilltop Seventh-day Adventist Church. I want to thank you for joining us on our broadcast this evening. Our presenter today is Miss Aislinn Ridley. We'll be talking about mental health. Miss A, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi, Toko. My name is Aislinn Ridley, and I am the wife of Pastor Ridley, the youth director for Allegheny West Conference. And I have a baby girl who's 5 months old. Her name is Annabelle. And I'm also an art therapist. So an art therapist is a mental health professional that works with children, adults, and a variety of populations, helping them use art to express their feelings and to cope.
Good. For our first question, the question is, what is mental health?
Okay, what is mental health? Mental health involves our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So all that means is it basically concerns how you feel, how you think, and how you interact with others. And so just as important it is to take care of your physical body, it is equally important to take care of your mental health.
So do you think that mental health is more important than physical health?
I don't think it's more important, but I think that it is equally important because if you have physical health, that's great, but if you're not well in your mind, then that definitely can be a challenge.
Okay. Why is mental health important for teenagers?
I think mental health is important for teenagers because adolescence, or the teenage years, is a transitional period for children who are transitioning into adulthood. And they're exploring their individuality, they're learning about themselves, and they're also going through a lot of physical changes. So it's really important for them to be mindful of their mental health and to think about it.
What can parents do to help teens with their mental health?
I think one of the things parents can do to help their teens with improving their mental health is communicating to them that they love them. So that can be communicating it verbally or just physically showing them love. One example is communicating to your child one of the things that they're good at. So you can praise them. If you find that they're good at a specific sport, or if they're good at writing, you can say, "Hey, Toko, you're really good at that. I'm so proud of you." And validating your teen is one way to show them that you love and care about them.
So do you think that mental health, while being a teenager, is the most important time to have good mental health in your life?
I would say no, it's not the most important, but it is crucial because a teenager's brain is still developing, and there can be a lot of confusion sometimes during this stage of development because of all the different physical changes, the psychological changes. There are also a lot of stresses that come with being a teen. Sometimes teenagers want to fit in with their friends. They want to make good grades. They want to be able to make their parents proud. All of these different transitions are happening, so sometimes it can feel it can be a stressful time.
Yeah, I know all about it. I know all about getting good grades and it trying to be stressful.
Mm-hmm.
So if being a teenager and having mental health isn't the most important time to have good mental health, then when is the most important time to have mental health?
I think the most important time to have good mental health is in every phase of your life. I know that's not a reality for everyone, but I think it's really important to think about your mental health at every stage of development. So whether it's preteens, teenagers, young adults, older adults, I think mental health is important at every stage of life.
Okay. How can teenagers be proactive about their own mental health?
Well, I think one way that teens can be proactive about their mental health is by first not being afraid to ask for help when they need it. So I would recommend reaching out to a trusted adult, for example, a teacher at your school or your parents, or someone that you feel safe with. For example, a guidance counselor. If you ever feel either that you're feeling sad about something, don't be afraid to seek out a trusted adult for help, because they can be able to guide you to be able to find resources that can help build your mental health and make sure that you're well.
Okay. What's one tool we can use to help build a healthy sense of self?
I think, well, I'll share one of the things that I remember doing as a teen that helped me build my sense of self. I love to be creative, and I know that teenagers sometimes think, oh, if I can't draw, I'm not creative. But the reality is that everyone is creative, and if you're not an artist in the sense where you're not drawing, you might be creative in the way that you dress, or the way that you wear your hair, or you might be a poet, or you might love music. So I think that one way is just trying to be creative, and also journaling. I think keeping a journal to write down your thoughts and feelings is a good way to process your emotions, and I think that's another way to help build your sense of self.
Okay, so do you think that being creative starts at a young age, or does it start like when you start becoming a teenager?
Well, I think everyone is creative from the time that you're able to pick up a pencil or a crayon. You never have to teach a child how to draw. They just automatically start scribbling, and it's usually, if a child is encouraged to continue being creative, that's when they might choose a creative path. But I think that every person is creative.
For my next question, how can I be normal, and do I still have creativity, or is my mental health bad, or is it just normal?
What do you mean by normal?
Like, if I'm not creative, or if I just, let me try and write a poem, or let me try and write music or draw, and I can't do any of that.
Oh, so if you don't feel like you're a creative person, what should you do? Okay, so one thing you can do is free write. So all that means is you just write down your thoughts. It doesn't have to be in the form of poetry. It doesn't have to be in any kind of special kind of format. You just write what you're thinking. That's one way of journaling.
So say your mental health is low. Do you think that having a boyfriend or girlfriend, do you think that'll boost your self-confidence or mental health? Or do you think it'll decrease your self-confidence or mental health?
Well, I don't think that having a boyfriend or girlfriend can increase your self-worth. It might make you feel better about yourself, but ultimately your self-worth has to do with what you think about yourself. It's not influenced about your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so your mental health is still important whether or not you have a girlfriend or boyfriend or not. But what I would say is what you want to keep in mind is that you have a healthy relationship, or you're able to socialize in a healthy way, because sometimes people in our lives can either impact us to do positive things that support our mental health, or they can potentially introduce negative behaviors that could endanger your mental health.
So I have another question. What if I feel like I don't fit in with anybody? I feel like I'm creative, but I don't at the same time, and I just don't fit into the standards that my friends do.
Okay, well, that's a really good question, and I think a lot of teens might feel that way because you're still discovering who you are, and you might feel out of place because you still haven't developed your the part of you that makes you feel special. So what I would recommend is just trying to find out things that you really enjoy doing. I believe that everyone is good at something. So I think that if you're able to find something that you're good at, continue to cultivate that skill. And if you feel like you don't fit in, I would say don't be afraid to try and reach out to maybe some peers in your class. Because I'm sure you're probably not the only person that feels like that. So I would say don't be afraid to seek others that you might see sitting by themselves, or maybe you guys could become friends, you never know. So I would just say don't be afraid to be vulnerable and try to get to know other peers.
So Ms. A, since you're an art therapist, Can you show us an activity that can help build our sense of self?
Absolutely. I would love to teach you, and our viewers watching, I would love to teach you how to make a mini art journal. So I'm going to be using very simple materials. You probably have these materials at your home. We're going to use magazines, we're going to use glue, we're going to use scissors, paper, and tape. So those are the things that you're going to need.
You better get ready.
All right, so are you ready to make some artwork, Toko?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's go over the art materials that we have. So you're going to need some clear tape, the large kind, so it looks kind of like this. Then you're also going to need a pair of scissors. And you also need either glue sticks, liquid glue, or Mod Podge. And you can get any of these art supplies at your local art supply store. Did I miss anything? Oh, you're also going to need magazines. Toko, can you pass me some of those magazines, please? Thank you. So you can get magazines, either pick them up from your home, or you can get some from your local thrift store. I got some really cool encyclopedias from the thrift store. And sorry, Toko, can you pass me that one? Thank you. So you can use old books like this from a thrift store, or just make sure you ask permission from your parents if you're going to use a book that you no longer read anymore. So here are some examples of the art journals that we're going to make today. Here's one of them. Here's another one. And here's a different size, bigger one. Okay. You ready to start?
Yes.
Okay, so the first step in making your art journal is choosing what kind of paper you want. So I have a bunch of different colors here. Toko, you can choose what color you would like to use from here.
Okay.
And if you don't have color construction paper, you can feel free to use loose leaf paper or computer paper. It's totally up to you. And you can also use more than one color.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So the second step is you're going to take, you're going to start with one of those sheets of paper. You're going to fold it into, fold it in half, and then fold that half into another half. So four sections. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to cut it.
Okay.
You're going to cut it out. So yes, exactly. And make sure it's nice and creased. And then now you get to shape your journal. So you can cut it into any shape you want. So you see the examples that I showed you. You can have one that's kind of slim, or one that's kind of more wider width, or one that's bigger and has like a curved edge. So you can choose what kind of shape you want for your journal.
Okay. I cut it from this side?
Yes, you start cutting from the side that's folded.
Oh, okay, there I got it.
Perfect. All right, so the next step is, so how many, you have about 4 pages right there? Okay, so this might not work with 3, so just pick one of those colors, because if it's too thick, you won't be able to cut through all of the pages, because this paper is kind of thick. Thank you. So now do the same thing with this red piece of paper. Fold it the same way you did the purple. Perfect. And now you can put the purple sheets of paper on top of the red, and then you're going to measure it and then cut it so that the pages line up together. Yep.
Okay.
So now what you're going to do, can I show you?
Yes.
So you're going to just take one of these and you're going to cut a small kind of hole from this edge. So I'll show you what that looks like. So it should look something like this.
Okay.
Not with that. You only do this step with one part of the paper. Okay? So this is going to be a different. This is a different. Yeah. So you can hold on to this part. Well, actually, because you see how this is together, you have to trim that part, or else your pages won't open.
Okay.
So right now it opens like this, but because you want the pages to be separate, he has to cut. He has to open this bottom part. So go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Okay, now make sure that they line up so that it's the same size.
Oh, I have to put this one too.
Yeah, so trim it down to size. Then I'll show you what the next step is. Good. You ready for the next part?
Yes.
Okay. So you can hold on to this part. So the next step is to open your sheets of paper and fold it gently, fold it this way. And then you're going to take your scissors and cut here about a little bit more than halfway down the middle. So about that much. And then, can I see this part? Thank you. So then you're going to put this part through the hole. And then open the flaps so that the pages go like this. Okay?
That makes so much sense.
Awesome. So once you've reached this step, so I did an example to just kind of follow along with Toko. So once you reach this step and you have, this is essentially your journal. These are the pages, and the next part is to decorate the outside. So what you can do is start choosing either words or images and start gluing them on. And then the last step will be to seal it with the tape, and I'll show you how to do that. So now I just want you to focus on decorating the front and back of your journal.
Okay.
Okay, so you can, I'll show you an example of how you can cover the journal. You can use part of a magazine. I just chose this because I like the mountains and the water. And just to give my journal like a background to work on, I'm going to use it and cover it. Almost like you're almost creating like a book cover. So you kind of have to measure the size of your journal like that. And then once you do that, you can cut it out. Now you have a front and back for your journal. Then the next step would be to glue this to the front and back pages. So you're gonna glue this page to the back, and then you're gonna glue the front page to the front part, okay? All right, so you can start looking through those magazines, Toko, and you can begin decorating your art journal. All right, so once you're finished decorating the front and back of your journal, now the final step is to seal it with the clear tape. So I'm going to show you how to do it with my example, and then Toko is going to do his. Can you see what I'm doing over here?
Yeah.
Okay. So first, because of the size of the journal, it might take about 3 times to cover the front and back. So you want to just be very careful how you place the tape, because you don't want there to be either any or very many air bubbles. So once you cover the front like that, then you're going to turn it around like this. And then you're going to cut. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing. Basically, you're going to repeat this step. I'll let you do yours.
Okay.
Let me know if you need help. So what helps is if you lay it flat on the table, like put this down, yeah, and then pull. But just make sure pull it a little bit more. And then let your finger go. No, this one, yeah. Okay, let me see, let go for a second. Okay. There you go. And then you wanna cut that part.
Okay. Wait, you want me to cut it with?
Yeah, you can cut here.
My journal. And the back of my journal.
And show them the inside.
Oh. And the inside of my journal.
All right, everyone, we thank you so much for joining us. Here's my art journal. I hope that you are able to try it at home. Thanks for joining again.
Bye.
Bye.